All right, we are live.
And just like that, we are live. This is the Dog Pound presents Off the Chain, and this is our first episode. First episode, guys. So, we got some people in here. We've been in the crypto community for a while. We got the dog in here. That's the dude who started this, and then we have Clay. We got Satoshi Wolf. We got Blues Crypto. And then we got me, Blockchain Dame. So we're gonna get it started today. We got a lot of good topics to talk about today. This, like I said, this is our first episode. We're gonna try to do this maybe once a month, bi-weekly, every week. Just a little test trial right now. So we're still working out some kinks and stuff, but we're gonna start with some good topics today. I think some topics we got to talk about today. We got some masternodes and staking stuff. We got Bitmex. The dude's getting banked over here, Ben Dello, whoever that is. We'll tell you more about him. We got some information about supply chain and crypto. We got some people's favorite coins in the mix. And I think we're just gonna be looking over some charts, talking positions, talking about getting this money, man. So let's start it off. So first heads up right now, I want to talk about there was a report that came out earlier this week or last week about the Bitmex COO. His name is Ben Dello. He is now Britain's youngest Bitcoin billionaire. Did y'all know that? Y'all know he was big? First of all, when I looked at this, the Bitmex CEO is actually a dude named Arthur. I forget his last name.
Hayes.
But I don't think he's from Britain. Maybe that's it. I didn't read too much into it. I just wanted to touch up on this because I just wanted people to know how big, first of all, if you look on CoinMarketCap, you'll see that Bitmex is by trading volume, at least in the last 24 hours, you see that it's number 2. I forget what it's right behind, but it's number 2 in trading value. So, I know a lot of Bitmex OGs. I know Dog. He's a Bitmex OG. He's been trading on that for a while. I personally just got into the Bitmex trading about 6-7 months ago. I was scared of the leverage because all you guys warned me that I'll get wrecked, and I didn't want to get wrecked. I was scared of that. Yeah, but I know some of you guys are pros on it too. But let's just talk about this. So the UK's youngest Bitcoin billionaire has been revealed as 34-year-old Oxford graduate, and he now lives in Hong Kong. His name is Ben Dello. He founded Bitmex back in 2014. He is now Britain's youngest self-made billionaire. He said he lives the frugal life. He takes after what's the name? Warren Buffett, Bill Gates. He gives like over 75% of his salary to charities and stuff like that. He graduated from Oxford, and he's straight from one of the articles. He said to live frugally with his wife Pan Wong in China, in Hong Kong. It sounds like they're happily. He said he worked 18-hour days to build this from the startup. 18-hour day. Dude wasn't eating. Dude wasn't taking showers. He lived off of 1 bottle of water a day. No, I'm just playing. But 18-hour days workout, man. I mean that's crazy. That's what he put into building this. And now him and his co-founders, they built up a huge fortune from the enterprise, which is now worth around $3.6 billion.
Crazy.
That's crazy, right?
That's
3.6 billion. So this dude is making bank. He himself, at age 34, they said he is now worth 1.063 billion.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a huge.
That's crazy, right?
So
why do you think so just from you guys, I know you guys have been using Bitmex a little bit longer than I have. Why do you think is what draws people to, what do you think draws the average cryptocurrency investor or even the experienced cryptocurrency investor to margin trade and leverage trade on Bitmex? What do you think that is right now?
I can speak on you go.
Oh, go ahead. All right, I'll give a little intro. So, from my opinion, what makes Bitmex so attractive is, first of all, it's so easy to get on. You don't need any KYC, essentially. So that opens the doors to anybody who doesn't want to pay taxes, or just really any situation whatsoever, because it's so much easier. You don't have to go through the whole process. You don't have to worry about are my numbers all adding up at the end of the day. So a lot of people see this as, oh, well, it's not even real trading anymore. I don't have to worry about that. So that brings in a lot of people there. Probably a lot of dark money as well. So that's something, you have to kind of consider with this situation. There's a lot of that in crypto. And so it does fuel a lot of the markets too. So, you have to be aware of that. Doesn't mean you have to advocate for it, or not. That's not quite the right word, but, you don't have to be happy about it, but you need to be conscious of that being there. If you want to participate in the crypto markets, you have to understand you are also participating with, perhaps not so legal money that's going around. I'm not going to touch on that too much because that could take up a whole podcast. But the big deal with no KYC, and then the leverage options are just ridiculous. I've never heard of an exchange where you can trade so much money while having so little yourself. So that lures in a lot of people that, they have like 0.1 or 0.5 Bitcoin or whatever, and they want to make these big boy trades. They want to actually make some big gains off this stuff, so they can actually trade 100,000 contracts with their 0.5 Bitcoin, which is a recipe for wrecked if you don't know what you're doing, which is
exactly. And that's another thing I want to talk about. I think just as much as that's the enticing thing to draw users to Bitmex, that's also the most dangerous thing, right? Because people hear about this leverage, 25 times, 100 times. You mean I can go? And if you're not an experienced trader, and then you can find yourself wiped out really fast, right? So that brings me to another point. How often or how many times, just for shits and giggles, have you guys been liquidated?
I've only done it like 3 times, and that was only because like I was sitting there bored and nothing was happening. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try this 100x, exactly. And it just like it was only like like $10, and just straight away gone. I was like, oh, yeah, sweet. I won't do that again.
Yeah, like I remember I have a story. I remember the first time. I mean, it's one thing about getting liquidated, but it's another thing about getting liquidated in your sleep, man. Like you waking up to that email, that dreaded email, like your position has been liquidated. That's the worst way to wake up ever. I'm telling you, like it's crazy. So let's talk about a little something else. So let's talk about leverage for a minute, right? Since we got some people on here. I mean, I talk to you guys every day. We trade, we talk Bitmex and trade every day. So what tips or what type of guidance do you have for anybody trading on Bitmex? Like what would you recommend? What leverage would you recommend? How would you recommend trading if you're first getting into it? Because like I said, this is our first show, but we also, as much entertaining as we would like to make it, we want to make it informational too as well, right? So let's drop some knowledge on people, and let's get one of you to give some of your opinions and suggestions to some quick high level ones to how you would trade it. So.
Sure, I can talk on that for a couple seconds, then I'll hand it off to Satoshi Wolf if you want to continue on that. So personally, I don't think the number as far as leverage goes really matters. What it really matters is what % of your capital are you risking. I don't think you should ever face liquidation at any point. You should always have a stop loss far before liquidation. I understand there's some people that will take advantage of BitMEX's trading engine, and that's a little bit more complicated, and why you might want to use a liquidation instead of a stop loss. But for most people, you're going to want to use a stop loss always. It's silly not to. And as far as the number goes, personally, I use cross leverage. It doesn't really matter, it's 2x, 5x, whatever. I look at it as, okay, how much of my whole portfolio am I risking here? How much am I working with? So say my portfolio is 10 Bitcoin. If I only have 0.5 Bitcoin on BitMEX or whatever, then a 10x, well, that's actually risking quite a bit at that point. I'll be risking 5 Bitcoin, but ultimately, yeah, to me, it's not about the number. It's not about the 2x, the 5x, the 10x. It is how much of your portfolio do you have? How much are you able to risk within your own trading protocol, your method, which you definitely need to have. And that's really all there is to it. The people that go on and they don't really know how much they're actually trading with as compared to their portfolio, that's where you get into these issues. So yeah, to me, the number doesn't matter. It's more percent of the whole of what you're working with. And then also from there, the biggest recommendation I can give for people trading Bitmex is you need to have patience. You need to be comfortable sitting, not being in a position, and just waiting with your orders there. In the past, like 2 weeks, I've logged on to Bitmex like 5 times, and I've had 2 really successful trades, but I just waited for it, you know? I set bids in the very strong support zone around 5,800 to 5,900. They caught, and then I just waited. I put my stop loss in once we pumped up a little bit, and I've had sells waiting to hedge my long up at the bearish order block between 67.50 to about 68.50. So, I mean, everyone has a different style, but the thing I want to stress the most is really just having patience. Just setting your bids, setting your sells, and then walk away, you know? And if you don't, you know, if the price moves on away from your bids, so it goes up higher or whatever, be okay with that, you know? Reevaluate and then say, okay, is there a support zone, you know, that it might come into later on that I can get? Sure, okay. But don't ever market buy. There's no reason to. Don't ever market sell, unless there's some huge FA, something comes out, Satoshi moved all his coins. But that's a different story.
And that's crazy. And that's good that you said something like that, because even you saying that right now, I'm an offender of market selling and market buying at times. And I know that whenever you do that, the fees are a little bit higher, right? They take whenever you do market orders.
Right. The fees are going to eat you up, and then also it's just bad practice. You know, you're just getting in this mentality where you're playing, you know, and this needs to be a well planned out strategy. You need to have a full battle plan for the trade. You need to know where you're placing your stop loss before you even enter the trade. You need to know when you're planning on taking profit. And if you can't, tell me straight up, this is what I'm going to do in this situation, what I'm going to do in that situation. Before you take the trade, then don't take the trade. You know?
Don't make it. Yeah. So I will say most of the times I have gotten wrecked is because I didn't let the trade come to me, or I revenge traded. You know, I lost some money, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get this back, hurry up real quick. Boom, I end up getting wrecked even more. And just the simple fact of not having patience. So can anybody add on to that? Or does anybody else want to add on?
Man, I would love to. What's going on,
hey,
guys?
Let them get familiar with the names and stuff too. So say
this
the name.
This is Trader Mayne.
There we go.
Some of you know me from hanging around in the pound the last couple months. I know some of you were tuned into my live stream the other night, so thank you for that. Very excited to chat with you guys live, voice to voice, as opposed to just kind of in the Discord there. But yeah, no, I mean, just to add to kind of what the dog was saying there, obviously some great points. I mean, one thing, I always stress when trading is you want to be robotic, right? Like you want to have no emotions. You should almost have a checklist. A lot of people write out a checklist. They print it on their desk for their trade plan. So if A, B, C, D, and E are all met, I'm taking the trade. I don't have mine written out like that, but that's very much how I think when I'm going into a trade. And then once you're in the trade, you're in it. And if you're right, you have your profit levels already predetermined. If you're wrong, you already have your stop predetermined. So you know everything, best case scenario and worst case scenario before going into it. And you got to be kind of like a robot. So when you market buy, that's FOMO, right? Like that's fear of missing out. Like that's an emotion. So I'm always a proponent against that. I call the extra fees when you got to market buy, the FOMO tax, because you shouldn't be doing it. As soon as you let emotion enter your trading, that's when you're going to see yourself lose money, get out of positions too early, hold on to positions too long. That's kind of when all the bad stuff starts to happen. When you try and treat it much more like a binary system, like a yes or a no, like, am I going long here? Here's the reasons why. Okay. And then you go long, or, obviously the opposite for the short. You're going to have a lot more success, and you're going to get a lot more information about yourself as a trader. What works for you when you have consistency in what you do. And any successful person will tell you that is what it's like in any facet of life. Most of the successful people in the world have strict regiments and plans, and they're organized, and they do everything sort of, like I said, in a regimented plan. And if you get your trading like that and you master that, you're going to master a lot of other things in your life too, outside of trading. If you can stick to a trading plan where you're super strict about your risk and your, what qualifies a good entry to you, you can apply that in every aspect of your life, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's getting up earlier, whether, you have a day job and, you want to crush it there. The skills you learn in mastering trading, and if you read any trading books, I know there's tons of great books in the education section of the Pound there. A lot of them talk about mastering yourself in order to mastering trading. And I find that that's such a critical aspect. Like the dog mentioned, that a lot of new traders and a lot of people in crypto are missing. The biggest problem I find in crypto is how fast it blew up, how much money a lot of people made in a short period of time. I mean, really, what was it? November to January was absolutely bonkers, right? You could buy almost anything and make 2x on your money. That's not realistic.
Nowadays that has slowed down
right?
a lot.
Like, look at BTC's volatility right now, right? You're not getting 2x on shit. So
which makes you be patient. It forces you to be patient, right?
Exactly. And so people get bad habits during the bull market, and those don't translate well to the bear market. So like, now is the perfect time to be honing your skills for the next bull run. So you're just that much more prepared, and you're not ever going to, I never have fear of missing a move, because I always know there's going to be a better one, or not a better one, but another one. And it's going to hit my certain parameters. Like, I've had, dumps where I had a short entry overnight and I missed it by like $1, and you can kick yourself the next day being like, fuck, I should have just market shorted it when I saw it. I mean, is this a PG-13 thing here? I can't help myself.
Hey, we gonna keep it. We can keep it. They know. Hey, it's dog pound off the chain, bro.
Yeah, there we go. Off the chain.
We talking about off the chain. We some dogs. We off the chain. Hey, I've seen worse on Twitter. Yeah,
I mean, if you listen to any of my videos, I swear like a sailor. So
exactly.
But that's just the way it is, man. Now's the perfect time to be practicing. I mean, the great thing about a bear market, obviously, it sucks if you're. I'm holding a couple alt bags. I'm guilty of it too. Great chance now is to sharpen your skills. Get a plan, practice. If there's not a lot of volatility, go back in the charts. I know everyone hates on hindsight trading so much. Like, that's how you learn. TradingView has a tool where you can like go back in time and watch it play out live. So like, when I was learning, and still to this day, like, I will go back in old Forex charts, because you can go back years, right? The problem with practicing in Bitcoin is you stare at the Bitcoin chart so much, you kind of just know the levels. Right? Like, if you've been watching Bitcoin over the past week, 6,800 is resistance. So even if you deleted the chart, it's going to stop there. So it's good practice to go into other charts, scroll back in time, use that strategy tester, and test things out. But, like the dog was saying, patience is so key. I trade so much less than people think I do. People are like, oh, are you in a position right now? Are you flat? Like, or did you take profit yet? It's like, man, I posted my trade a week and a half ago. I'm still in it. I check it once a day just to see, where things are at. I don't even need to open Bitmex. I just open, TradingView and just check the price. I'm like, yeah, things are going according to plan. And your life will be so much more relaxed, especially if you're trying to do this thing full time. I tried to do the trading thing full time. It was stressful as hell. It didn't help that I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But
I think that's another.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. So I don't think that Bitmex is something that if you're new to crypto, or even if you're not new to crypto information wise, but I'm talking about like trading. Like, some people call themselves day traders, some people call themselves investors, right? So that brings me to my next question. When do you think it's a good time to start actually using Bitmex? Because like I said, it could be very profitable, but it could be very dangerous, right? So just for instance, I was trading for about a year before I even made a Bitmex account and went in, right? So just to go down the list. So Blues, how long have you been trading crypto all around and then on Bitmex?
For crypto, I started in October. Just before the bull run, because Actually, yeah, as I said in the Dog Pound, I was interested in crypto in 2016. I just bought one Bitcoin just for fun, and and I got back in early 2017, yeah, in October.
When did you get on when did you get on Bitmex?
Yeah, on Bitmex I got in February. Yeah, but I was trading forex long before I started
So you had
leverage.
some prior knowledge, just trading in general.
Yeah.
But you didn't get on Bitmex until, I guess you could say, what, about 6 months after you started doing the whole crypto thing, right?
Yeah,
so you were experiencing that
like
part. Yeah,
3-4
dog.
months.
I know you've been an OG. I know you've been an OG in this game for a while. When did you start trading on Bitmex and compared to just overall crypto?
Well, let's see. I started crypto. I mean, okay, all right. I don't know if you want to count all the different things I've done in crypto really as strictly trading. I really
actively trading.
Yeah, I mean, I was actively trading at some points. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. As far as actually having a concept and understanding, as at least the basics and everything, I would say that started probably last year around January, February. I still wasn't particularly good or like the best or anything like that.
Okay.
I would say I got into Bitmex last. I want to say it was October or so.
See?
At the time, it was really simple.
See, what I'm trying to get at is I'm trying to get people to understand that although you can do whatever the hell you want to do, I just think that Bitmex is one of those things that, yeah, it's an open exchange for anybody to get on. But I personally feel that more of the advanced traders use Bitmex, right?
Yeah. What I tell people is what you should do is hop on to testnet. If you can trade profitably with testnet with a method, as in this is not just random trades, not oh my gosh, it's a rising wedge, I'm gonna short that bitch. No. You have a method, clear set of rules, like what Mayne was saying, and that works for you on testnet for a few weeks. Then hop on over to the real thing and then start trying.
I'm not sure about the testing thing because it doesn't test your emotions, so it's kind of tricky. You can have a winning strategy in testnet, but just when you start trading live, it's just a whole new thing.
So this is a great point.
You have your emotions evolve. So it's not that simple. I think it's not that simple because
I started.
The thing with Bitmex, I want to add one thing. Like with Bitmex, like all the other brokers, all the other exchanges, there are no rules. So, and with Bitmex, you have 100. You can go up to 100 leverage, and people don't realize that. And with greed, it's easy to get rolled out, and you just keep adding to your positions, and you get emotional, and as soon as you figure out you're already liquidated. So yeah, it's not that simple. I'm just
so it's dangerous. It's dangerous for sure. I mean, when I started trading crypto, there was no Bitmex. There was no margin trading. But I was so degenerate at the time because I was in the hype of, thinking I knew what was going on, that I started trading 4X, which is, 500 to 1 leverage in some instances. But I have the same comment about the demo thing. Although a lot of people, a lot of gurus or whatever, they'll say, okay, you should only be trading with a demo account. The problem with the demo account is, you're going to go in there, you're going to make a demo account with $100 grand. You're going to be making these huge trades. You say, I'm ready to go live, but in reality, your real account has $500 in it, right? So it's not conditioning you properly. And like Blues just said there, 100%. Once real money is in the game, it does change everything. There is value to doing testnet and shit like that if you can be strict. If you can only, wager amounts that you would realistically do in real life, and you can try and treat it like a real life simulation. I do think that it is invaluable losing money. I think that's part of the learning experience in trading. If you're not losing money and trying shit, you're not really going to learn until you've taken a loss. But the key is just mitigating how much you lose. There's an infographic somewhere on the internet, I think I posted on Twitter at one point, of how much of a percent return you have to get back to break even after you've killed 25% of your account, and it's staggering. Capital preservation is as important.
And that's what people. Yep, and that's what I don't think people realize is yeah, just as much as you lose, it takes that much extra to get it back. So the thing
100%.
is, yeah, hey, so stop losses, risk management, that's all important. Else, if you don't practice those, you will continue making this guy, Dean Dello or whatever, him and his wife Pan, you're gonna continue making them hella Bitcoin billionaires. So
Well, that's
I
the
think
thing.
that wraps up.
When I started with Bitmex, I was just putting like $10 trades on and stuff, just so I could get used to what was happening, the leverages and all that kind of stuff. Because like I didn't know if you have a stop loss and a position, if your stop loss gets hit and then goes the other way, it also opens that position kind of thing. Like if you have like a sell point, like on Bitmex, so things like that. Like you don't want to have that happen with a large amount of money or what you can afford to lose. You just want it to be small change.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just quickly on that as well. So it's Satoshi Wolf speaking. So I like to position myself. I mean, Bitmex is not my bread and butter. You know, it's something that I'm constantly learning, constantly teaching myself about. I like to position myself closer to entry-level traders onto Bitmex. So I'm by no means a guru or an expert on this, but a few tips and tricks that I picked up for myself. So to help with the FOMO, so as Trader Mayne said, you should never FOMO into a trade. So I always make sure that I use the calculator first. So I force myself, no matter what, to pull up the calculator on Bitmex and to start working out my trades, right? So if I enter here and my stop loss is set to here, how much am I going to lose? Here are my key profit level takes. How much am I going to make on each one? And I map it all out first before I put a single dollar into a trade. And the amount of times that saved me, where I've looked at the charts and I've gone, oh shit, like this is about to pop, this is about to go up. And I've gone, nah, calculator, I've done all my calculations. By the time I've finished, it's just tanked. I've gone, shit, I've just saved myself some money. So I think that's really important. Like calculator first, set your stop losses up first as well. Make sure they're good to go. And for me personally, I like to trade the larger time frame. So like trading on the hourly, anything lower than that, I do it for a little bit of fun and to teach myself, but I make them very, very small trades. I make the larger trades on the bigger time frame. So it's okay not to catch the bottom. It's okay not to catch a long at 6,000. Catch it at 8,500 instead. Because if we pick up a long at 8,500 and the trend has completely changed and we're heading back up, who gives a shit if you picked up at 8.5 or 6 when all of a sudden Bitcoin's at 15,000?
There we go. So it's about. I think you mean it's about percentage gains, right? As long as you're getting the percentages up, it's cool.
Well, so everyone should have got long at 5,800 if they were watching our charts.
just the hindsight tip, right?
Just so we know, I fucking call that after the fact. But no,
you want to know what?
Go ahead.
I think a lot of people did long at 5,800. I just think a lot of people closed it early because they got nervous because at that time we were dropping so fast that everybody was just scared to have it.
And to Satoshi Wolf's point there, when you know the parameters of your trade going into it, you got to realize that having a stop loss, part of that stop loss means that you can be underwater in the trade and your analysis is still holding. Right. So that's what people get scared. They log on Bitmex too often. They're like, holy shit, I'm in the negative. I should just cut my loss now. It's like, dude, like this is within your allowable risk tolerance. Like, why do that calculation if you're not going to allow it to go against you? That's part of it. The other tip is the best trades in terms from a risk reward perspective, the stop loss and the entry are super close. For me, at least, my goal is to have the invalidation of my trade and where I'm getting in as close as possible. So if I get knocked out, I get knocked out quick. And my potential upside is just always that much more. That's going to remove a lot of stress for you if you just know all of these factors in advance. Where am I taking profit? Where am I putting my stop? It's okay to be negative until you get stopped out. You're technically right. So don't FOMO
there we go.
We got out.
There y'all go. We got Trader Mayne dropping them gems live right now. So hey, I think we getting warmed up, y'all. Y'all feeling it now? Y'all feeling the first show? We got everybody got talking. Yeah, okay, let's wrap the Bitmex topic up and let's move on to the next topic. I got one more topic from me. I know you guys have some more planned, but I wanted to talk about supply chain and crypto, right? So everybody talks about real world use cases in crypto. You know, does it have a real world use case? If it doesn't, then, you know, it's just a shit coin, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever anybody's opinions is. But supply chain on crypto, I feel, is like one of the top uses for crypto, other than it being, you know, a currency that can change, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to talk about 3 coins, specifically Te-Food, Walton Chain, and WaBi, right? And can you guys see what I'm sharing right now?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I want to talk about 3 coins: Te-Food, Walton Chain, and WaBi, and how they're similar. Just some simple little facts about them, and, you know, just get some input on what you guys think, because I think these 3 coins right here, you know, some are fairly new on the market, some just got out of their ICO not too long ago, some have been here for a while, but I think that these 3 coins are going to perform very well over the next couple of years. And I think that they will have very good real world use case. And I think that they will be something that, you know, people will, I wouldn't say everyday use, but people will have some find benefit in using. So let's just go down. Let's start with Te-Food. Now, first of all, I know we talk about Te-Food a lot in the pound, but just some quick facts about Te-Food. So Te-Food, they claim to be the world's largest publicly accessible farm-to-table fresh food traceability solutions, and it was started in 2016, serves over 6,000 business customers, and handles 400,000 business transactions each day. So this was something that has already been real life implemented. You know, I think they just now integrated the blockchain stuff into it, you know, in around 2017 or so, late 2017. So some notable partners that it has, just to show you why I think people are interested as well in it as well. Deloitte is big. They even have a halal trail. So if any of y'all like halal food, every time I go to New York, halal guys, you know what I'm saying, they got the bomb food. So now I know it's traced by Te-Food, or if it is, so now I know I'm getting the right meat. Anyway, so halal food, you got Wyoming beef. They track it. Those are just some of the companies that currently use it now. They have an app that can run on low power phones. So, you know, I know this is popular in a lot of countries outside the U.S. So that may be a big deal. And they can track anything from fruits, vegetables, seafood. They do have master nodes coming. And nobody really knows the exact count or the exact minimums for a mass node, and it's sitting around right now at about 15 million market cap. So I just want to run through the other 2 before we start getting into some in-depth talk about these. The next one we got is Walton Chain. Now, I know a lot of you guys know what Walton Chain is already. RFID, IoT. They claim. They claim to bring something to us called the value Internet of Things, right? So you got Internet of Things, they're adding that value in front of it. It constructs a perfect commercial ecosystem via the integration of real world and blockchain, ushering human beings into digital unfolds, blah, blah, blah. So they do everything from tracking clothing, from artwork. They have something called Friar Chain. And then they just introduced something the other day, last week, and it's called Walton Chain Food, WTC Food, and that brings us right back into the category of the food tracing, right, that Te-Food does. Another coin is WaBi, right? So they do basically the same stuff, but they do they track fake baby food products, because apparently fake baby food is a real big thing in China. And then they do fake alcohol, right? So with these 3 supply chain things, they all track traceability from farm to table and everything like that. And I know that they're heating up. They're being real popular. I know Te-Food in particular, they've had a nice little uptrend over the last couple of weeks or so. But how important do you guys think, aside from the profitability of these, how important do you guys think that these 3 coins are, in addition to any other of the supply chain coins? And you know, I just want to hear some input from you guys.
One thing real quick, could you give me, or just give us all a little bit more background and overview on how the blockchain fits into these supply chain tokens. Like how, so you're saying it's tracking the food along the way. Could you give me a little bit more detail on that?
Yeah. So for example, for TE Food, they basically track. They use chips and other barcodes, scanning codes, traceability, anything like that from the farm to the table. So let's just say your meat was produced in everything from when the cattle was born, whatever antibiotics or what kind of whatever they inject meat with these days, everything like that will be put on the blockchain, be traced on TE Foods chain, I guess, whenever they go to their own main chain, right? And then you will be able to, once you see the meat in the store, let's just say that whatever company that is that's processing that meat or that's putting it out is working with TE Food, you will essentially be able to, at a very high level, be able to open up your TE Food app, whenever that is, and scan it, and it'll tell you exactly from when the meat was born to when it hit your table. It'll tell you exactly where every place that it's been to, whatever it was injected with, everything, and it obtains the blockchain benefits because of security and all of the other stuff like that.
With that though, do you reckon the companies, the places where the meat goes to, do you reckon they will actually say everything that's in them?
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because I did read while doing some research on these that in order for them to run these chains, that whatever is country that's allowing them to operate, the government has access to check all of that stuff on the back end as well. So one of the main things that I was looking at is the token utility for these, right? Because we know what they do. But what's the benefit of holding one of these coins tokens? So for TE Food, some of the token utility was for the token. So here they have two main uses for the token. So to use TE Food's blockchain traceability ledger, supply chain participants will need to pay for transaction using the token. So that's an obvious use, right? So that right there could hold the price pretty well on that, depending on how many of these companies adopt TE Foods technology, right? Another one is value of exchange. Consumers get tokens as rewards for using the TE Food consumer mobile app in retail, reading the QR code and viewing the food history, the way the system incentives conscious consumer behavior. So basically, whenever you're using your app to scan these foods, you get rewarded with more T-Food, right? So it's like a reward program. We're going to reward you for using this, and in benefit, you'll know exactly where your meat and all of that stuff came from, right? Cool. So it's a similar use for WaBi and Walton chain with those two. So basically, you'll need to buy the coins if you want to run one of the chains, or if you want to use this to track your products, and you'll get rewarded these tokens for actually using the product itself. Sure. So I myself, Walton chain is one of my favorites. I really like WaBi as well. I haven't really got into the whole T-Food thing yet, but I know it's related to these. What do you guys think about this, and so far as in like real world use, and the simple fact of, do you find what is the future for some of these coins? Do you think that these coins will have a nice little run on the next one, or what?
I'll just jump in real quick. So there's a couple of things. I actually watched a presentation here in Melbourne of a company doing a similar thing. And one of the points they brought up, which I hadn't thought about yet, was counterfeit food. So he brought up two examples where their product is working with companies to put a stop to it. He talked about meat and he talked about wine. So he was saying that the amount of times, and he threw some figures up, and they were absurd figures, like crazy numbers that are being lost to counterfeit goods. So he even said, for example, like a big pork shipment goes out, let's say from Australia. So the farmer puts it onto the ship or whatever. So whilst it's on the ship, people will actually take that high quality pork and swap it out for a lower quality meat, right? With the same labels and everything. So when that product actually lands at its port, the guys unloading it look at the tags and go, right, this is pork. It's come from Australia, for example. Yep, we're all good, without actually knowing that the meat's been swapped out. And he said the same thing with wine. So what they do is they actually put like a little chip inside the wine bottle. that can tell if the wine bottle has been opened.
Yeah.
And what was happening was really good quality, expensive wines were basically being opened, poured out another bottle, filled up with a cheaper wine, and then, shipped on. So in terms of real world use, I think supply chains are going to be massive. From a personal point of view, I love to know where my food comes from. So
exactly.
I don't eat meat. I try and keep everything organic, plant-based. And for me, like some of the stuff I see in supermarkets, whilst it says organic, whilst it says, it doesn't take a genius to look at the products. Let's say, for example, carrots, right, or potatoes. You look at it and they all exactly the same shape and size. And you go, well, it's impossible in nature for that stuff to grow exactly the same shape and size unless it's been tampered with.
So something is all right.
For me personally, like supply chain products like this, I think are going to be huge, and they're going to shape the future because it's going to allow people to see exactly where their food's coming from.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's just like I don't see how the token side of things really comes into effect.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I love what they're doing, and it's the same with like the shipment companies, like Wolf was just saying, like. You obviously want to know where everything is, foods, like products and all that kind of stuff. But like, they're all trying to make their own coin or tokens for these products. I just don't see.
Right. So I think the tokens, you're spot on. So I think the token side of things, it needs to remain B2B. So business to business. So from a consumer point of view, I can't see any use for these tokens, right? So I get up after this call, I head down to the supermarket, I do my shopping, and let's say for argument's sake, they've got the Te-Food barcode on everything. That's great. So yeah, sure, I might scan a few things, check out where it all came from. But I mean, from the token aspect, I don't give two shits. Like, I'm not going to use it. Right? So
can these companies, could they not just apply for going onto the normal stock exchange, like say the ASX, which is the Australian Stock Exchange or whatnot?
They could, but so the tokens from the one that I saw the other week, so they've got a really good use case from the B2B side of things. So the blockchain in their token will actually allow them to speed up a lot of this process.
Yeah.
So from a B2B, it makes a lot of sense. So basically these companies have their tokens. Every time the product, reaches a new checkpoint or whatnot, it sort of, pings back to the I guess their platform, and uses up tokens, so on and so forth. So from that aspect, I think it makes sense. But from a B2C, business to consumer, I can't see how this is going to work. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that I feel like it's just only one of those only time will tell thing, right? Like because even though they claim and they seem to have good value in the crypto space, well, the crypto space is only in the real world business perspective is only a very, very small percentage of what actually is going on in the real business. You know what I'm saying? In terms of supply chain and food, right? I read an article about how a lot about the competition between these three coins and how people are saying that these coins don't have to necessarily be in competition, because even though that they're in play right now, and they're some of them have got some nice returns, and the price is holding steady on some of them. Well, it only represents a very minimal fraction of the real world percentages so far as in like who the adoption of these coins. One thing I wanted to show is you guys were speaking about fake liquor and all that stuff. Here's a video that I found about fake beer production in China. So this is why right here this is why right here, son of a bitch. Yeah, you see it, just the screen just goes
just one thing quickly. You said something about WaBi doing like baby formula, and over in Australia that's massive. Like one of my friends works at a supermarket, and they would have Chinese cruise ships come in, and all the Chinese people would try to buy a heap of our baby formula and then send it all back.
Yep.
Because they're making massive profit. Baby foods went through the roof a couple of months ago. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
And it was killing babies. babies, bro. It was killing babies. That it was a huge epidemic a couple of years ago. That's one of the main reasons why. So I think this is a conspiracy because it's not letting me show this fake beer production on and I was definitely watching this earlier. I was watching this earlier and I saw the whole thing. But basically, it was a bunch of like cut off top cans, and they had them in some fake looking water, dirty ass, gringy water, and you know, it looked mad sketch. It looked mad sketch, and I guess that they were showing that because that was one of the reasons why, you know, this is needed, right? One thing I did want to add is, apart from the food tracing and the alcohol and all of that stuff, Walton chain, they definitely have another, I guess you could say, dimension to it. They allow companies or any kind of projects to create child chains, right? Frere chain, they already created a child chain on Walton. I know Walton has a few other child chains that's already in play, and one of Walton's things is not just the WTC food, but it's also in creating a smart cities, right? They have some partnerships with some governments in China and stuff, so they want to make they want to use RFID and IoT, or should I say value Internet of Things, to just make the whole city traceable and collect data on the whole city, so far as like trash, waste, and clothing stores use them and all that stuff too. So I think they have a little bit more robust of a whole ecosystem working with them.
I think the Walton chain coin has more utility than the others, like for the IoT side of things. So you have machine-to-machine payments. You have this kind of utility, so you can justify having a token, unlike like let's say Te-Food or other supply chain blockchain. Like a blockchain just could be enough for the use case. Yeah.
Has anyone got the WaBi quote ready to go?
Oh, you talking about as in what WaBi quote? What you talking
about? The dog's quote.
Sorry, guys. I was dealing with some girl issues.
Oh man,
yeah, it's insane. I just had this girl. No, man, I had this girl just drop me like 4 3-minute voice messages.
Whoa!
After we've been talking for like. And about like some shit that happened like months ago. I'm like, why are you still thinking about this? Like,
speaking of that, wouldn't it be cool to if they had like a tracking system for the chicks? Like I can scan the code and see exactly like who you came from, where you've been with. I need that Carfax on you. You know?
I don't want to know, bro. I wouldn't have sex with anyone if I knew.
That would be sick. We need a crypto solution for that, man. But anyway, we about to keep it moving. So what I know that was 2 of my topics.
I'll make a comment on that kind of stuff, because I come to crypto purely as like a trader. I will openly admit I have very little like working knowledge of blockchain technologies, what a lot of these new tokens do. I have like a base understanding of mining and like the blockchain basics, but like that's it. It's very limited. To me, everything I focus on is within the chart. So what I like to see in a token or a coin is one that, if it has these use cases and these partnerships and it seems legit, to me as a trader, I know that that's a coin that's going to continually see volume and get pumped over and over again. So people hate Ripple, but the fact that Ripple has good marketing, even if not all of it is true, is the fact that, you know, you'll see Ripple market cycle over and over and over again. There's going to be a lot of these coins that 2 years from now are dust that you won't even be able to sell anymore. The ones with the good projects,
I know a lot of
good
people that take that approach. Yeah.
Those have tons of value. If you're knowledgeable about that stuff, you know ones that you can kind of leave money in, right? Some of these coins, I'm like, yeah, I'd like to catch 1,000% gain, but I have no idea what this thing does, and it doesn't sound like it does anything. And so I'm not going to stick a Bitcoin into it and hope it pumps one day. I'm talking about library coin.
Library coin. No.
I'm talking about LVC from way too expensive. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
All right. So speaking of, now we get into some of the altcoin talk. I know Clay, you had some. I know you had some altcoins that you wanted to talk about.
Not today. I think that's
not today.
Wolf's got coins.
Who wanted to talk about some of their favorite coins that they're eyeing, or that they're just from it could be from a TA perspective, it could be from an FA perspective, maybe while you're looking at it, maybe a good entry point that you're looking at. Let's drop some gems for the people that's listening. Let's give them some value. So does anybody want to take over the screen?
I think that's Wolf, mate.
Some stuff?
Yeah, I could drop one quick one.
Okay. Let's do a round table. Drop a quick one. So you could take the share.
All right, I'll take the share. So I mean, this is, this podcast has been running for quite some time already, so I'll keep it short and brief. Let me just share my screen.
Oh yeah, most dev.
This window here. All right. To make sure I share the right screen. Cool.
There we go. Yeah, you see it.
Sorry, so there. While we're talking about supply chains, I brought up.
Oh, Origin Trail. There we go.
This is actually one of my favorite coins in terms of supply chain. It's not the one I'm going to speak about there. The one I'm going to speak about is one called MicroMoney. Have you guys heard of that one before?
Which one?
MicroMoney.
Oh shit, you dropping the gems, bro. I haven't heard of that one.
Bring it up.
I have it on my watch list.
Oh yeah, you know what? I saw you mention that the other day in the pound, which is why you guys got to come to the pound. Anybody that's listening to it, if you're not in the pound yet, these are the type of gems that boys is dropping in the pound. Come and get this information.
For sure.
Talk to us on Twitter.
So really quick. I guess like a quick thing about it. So it's a micro lending platform aimed towards developing countries, towards people that don't have access to bank accounts. So as a kid, I spent 6 years in Myanmar, and when I was 24, I left and went back to the Philippines for about 5 years. So I've got to witness firsthand how a lot of these people in these developing nations, they don't have access to banks. They don't have, therefore, access to loans because they don't have a credit history. And the reality is that we all need money, emergency money from time to time, right? Like your kid gets sick and needs to go to hospital, and you have no access to money, no access to get a loan. So MicroMoney are out there doing that. If we bring up the website, and there's some stuff that I really like about them, and I'll show you why. But while we're waiting for that to load up, I'm in Australia. Internet out here is absolutely
it's worse
down under, bro.
Some of the lesser countries. Hey, it's horrible.
It's fake. Yes. So I mean, if you have a look at this, right? It's a 1.2 million market cap. You can see here the chart; it's bottomed out, right? I mean, if you go back up here towards some of the peaks, 9.7 million market cap. This is obviously just as it came out to be traded back in Jan. So, I try and disregard a lot of this stuff here because I mean there was just so much hype going on. This is where I've started to accumulate. It's along here where it's sort of bottomed out. If we have a look at the site itself, and as I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it because I want anyone looking at this that's sort of gone, oh, wow, that looks pretty cool, 1.2 million market cap, do your own research on it, and I'll show you what I mean. So if you come to the site and read through it, the key things to look at here is this. So fully transparent. These guys have given us access to their G drive with all of their working files in there, to their business plans. So these guys are already operational out in, I just want to check it to make sure I got it right. I get it confused. So they're already out in Cambodia, Myanmar, and Thailand. They're coming out into Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines, and then they're getting ready to launch in 6 more countries. The interesting ones that I'm looking at, Singapore and Hong Kong, because those two, to me, they're not developing nations. But both those countries there have a lot of people from the Philippines, Myanmar, Thailand working in Singapore and Hong Kong. So I'm pretty sure that's the demographic they're targeting. It's still people from these developing countries, but are living and working in Hong Kong and Singapore. But if we go back to the G drive here, so for example, let's bring the Philippines. So we can go into the Philippines, the business plan, the financial model, general information that works, right? Let's go to business plan, for example. Let's bring up the business plan. And they've done this for every country. So you can read through this yourself. There's P&Ls there for people to look at, what banks that they have deals with. So I know that they've got a deal with BPI, I think it is. So BPI is one of the biggest banks in the Philippines. BDO, which is another one. So it's like in Australia, we have the top 4 banks, BDO, BPI, and there's another couple out in the Philippines. So you can already see here from a cryptocurrency project point of view, I mean, in my opinion, these guys are ahead of the curve. You can see here like the amount of information and effort and time they've put into this. And these guys have a working product. They're out already operational in countries that I've just mentioned. And on top of that as well, you know, I mean, you can see here PLDT, that's one of the biggest communication providers in the Philippines. So, I mean, they've got these things in place. They've got the partnerships in place. They've got the working product in place. And they've got an actual revenue model. So these guys are already making money. Do not quote me on this. I'll try and find it and I'll post it under this. But I did read that the company's value at the moment is around 10 million US dollars based on their revenue.
I'm totally quoting you on that.
But I'm going to find it and I'm going to post it as a link underneath this.
Sorry if it goes up a bit today. I'm going to start marking
Yes, look, I mean, it's looking pretty good. And, you know, I think that's one of the good things about, you know, some the people here in the pound, because we got worldwide coverage. Because me being here in the U.S., I mean, maybe it's because I don't look at stuff like this every day, but I didn't know more than half of the information that he just dropped on just like the basic information about the banks and all of that stuff. So that's some good knowledge right there.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Someone mentioned just you know, it's probably going to go up right now because, you know, someone listening is going to see it and want to hop on the exchange and buy it. I just want to give some quick advice to all those people out there, you know, that are kind of new to the scene and new to how everything works. Things will get chilled, they will pump, and then they will drop right back to where they were. So, especially in a bear market. In a bull market, it's a little bit different. But right now, don't rush to buy anything. Be patient, set low bids. And, you know, like if it does pump from this video, don't contribute to that. Wait and get a better deal for it because you can, most likely.
For instance, WAN-Chain, right? When it first dropped, the super hype was all around and it was already at what? Times 10, 15 of the ICO price, 8 times 8 ICO price. And now it's at like an all-time low on the exchanges, right? So if you would have just been a little bit more patient, I mean, of course you could have capitalized on the gains at that moment. But if you're looking more of a long term or whatever, there always be opportunities to catch it back low again. So
100%, yes.
As far as WAN-Chain goes, that's more of like a macro scale, all of the hype of the community. But in this case, since it's like such a small cap where there's a few guys talking about it, something as small as like, you know, $10,000, $20,000 could even pump this, you know, 5%. So for this, I'm more talking about the small scale, really small cap projects where you have one, you know, guy that has a bigger voice that will mention it. You know, pay heed, see what they're saying, see what they're talking about. Don't buy it. You know, wait a little bit, see where it is in a week, and then start buying.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if anybody buys in with 20,000 right now, Wolf is going to be one happy person. Yeah, and he already got his sell orders already ready. So,
well, okay, so just I want to be fully transparent on this. So yeah, the dog beat me to it. So when we talk about these projects, this is not I quickly rush out and market buy this shit as much as you can. It's definitely not. So as I said, my buy zones have been in. Sorry, I'm trying to do it on the wrong screen. My buy zones have been in from basically like along here. This pump here. Let me bring this up a little bit more. There we go, internet. So, cool. So I've been buying basically from like here onwards, right? This pump here, I didn't sell anything because again, this pump here was exactly what we're talking about. So someone spotted this and gone, holy shit, this is going to go to the moon. They've basically just bought as much as they can all the way to the top. Now it's very easy for people to FOMO here because they go, holy shit, this has just jumped some, you know, 30, 40, 50%. I better get on quick. But as you can see, it comes back down. It always does. So there is definitely no rush on this. So do your research, take 1, 2, 3 weeks to do your research if you need to. There is no rush on buying this coin right now. I just want to make that very clear.
Patience. That's what we're talking about.
And as we spoke about before, if we just drop this back real quick, when it decides to load. So look, if you miss it here, for example, right, and you wait until it comes up and let's say breaks through the, you know, this part here, if it breaks through resistance here and starts heading up, I mean, buying it here is not the end of the world because there's still so much room to move. So yeah, pick your entries properly. Don't FOMO this coin. Do your research on it, and just understand you have plenty of time before this thing moves.
Yeah, there we go. So we got So we got Wolf dropping gems. We talked about Bitmex. We talked about supply chain. Trader Mayne came in. So I see Blues. I see that you loading up some stuff in the background. Is there any gems that you wanted to drop today?
I'm still in my bag. No, I'm just joking. I actually didn't buy it yet. It's actually some here know it. It's London. It's EAU. It's a blockchain project. It's
okay, dude. If you have everything pulled up, you might want to share your screen if you don't mind. So what we're doing right here, guys, we're just going through some favorite altcoin picks at the moment for some of the members here in the pound. I mean, if you got any that you want us to check, or if you got any recommendations, hit one of us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think, and maybe we'll take a look at it, and maybe it'll make it on air. So we're just going through some stuff right now.
Okay. So I have my screen shared. Yeah. So yeah, it's a blockchain for D apps. So it's pretty good because the reason I like it is because of the low cap. So compared to the competitors, like if we see this a comparison with the other platforms, like you can compare it to the big caps like Neo or Waves or Lisk. They're all above like 100 million market cap, and London is only 10 million, and this is in my opinion this is worth the risk, because they actually working at their product, and they're delivering something good, and the mainnet is coming like in the fourth quarter, and I saw and I read the latest update, and they seem like to be doing well, so it's good, and the actual language programmation language is Python. It's based on Python, so it's widely used. So I think it's gonna do a good job. And you know that they are pretty hyped. Like the platforms are really hyped. So it's gonna pump easily. In my opinion, it's gonna pump so easy. I think I'm not the only one to like it. Like even bro colleagues like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a quick question. Actually, so when they were going through the ICO, I was sitting here one night. I was a little bit intoxicated, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to pick out some ICOs and just dig through them. Lambden was actually one of them. I had a bit of a problem with the CEO and founder. I'm just trying to bring up. I wrote some stuff down about it ages ago. So when I'm just bringing up my things now. All right. So the things that I found, and again, this is not taking away from the project. They're just things that were like flagged in my head. So the CEO was a guy named Stuart Farmer. So one of his other companies he had listed was called Logic Labs. So when I went through Logic Labs, they were trying. So first of all, Lambden were trying to raise $50 million in the ICO. So I went through Logic Labs, and the first thing I see was, does utilizing deep learning to analyze and predict financial market data sound interesting to you? Right. So that was the opening line you would see on his Logic Labs website. Yeah. But then as you scroll down, you start to realize that this company was nothing more than a simple web development company that would take a WordPress, install it, set up a skin, and that's the work done, right? And so then I looked through some of their portfolio for this company, and I found that, whilst they're claiming they're working with big oil and chemical companies and so on and so forth, all they were actually doing was setting up a WordPress website for them. So it sort of really made me, so I didn't invest in it. I liked the idea of it, but I didn't invest in it because I sort of thought to myself, well, we've got a CEO of a company that's literally just setting up WordPress sites, and then now all of a sudden he's doing Lambden. The jump is huge, and I was trying to figure out whether or not he could pull it off. And then, since then, I haven't really looked at it until you've just brought it up then. But so you feel that the team at the moment is solid? They're going to be able to pull this off?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't look at what you said. I just learned it. I heard about this in Twitter, but I didn't dig into it. But in tech perspective, I think that they're doing well. I literally saw the last update. They were ready for the testnet. So yeah, for now, it's all according to their plans. Yeah, sure. I will sure investigate on it more because yeah, like you said, it might be shady.
Now that you've mentioned it, I'm definitely going to look into it again today. I mean, as Trader Mayne mentioned before, right? You can trade based on the charts, and
yeah, sure,
definitely works. And if they do release a product, well, we all know how that goes, right? There'll be a nice big pump. So,
exactly. Yeah, actually, what catched my attention was the competition. They all have above 100 million. Like you say, Neo is a multi-billion project. Waves is around 200 million or more. I don't even remember. It's like 10x, 20x. It's easily pumpable. Like this thing, you can buy it and resell it for 5x, 10x.
Yeah.
Like yeah. I mean,
I think I seen you mentioning Tile a lot in the pound. I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on with the just like we see a lot of similar charts all across the board with some of these altcoins, right? But and a lot of them will start popping off all at different times. But I think Tile is one of some people's sleeper picks, as you would say, right? So
yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do, we're gonna start getting into a wrap up session right now, closer to the end for our first episode of the Dog Pound Presents Unchained. Off the chain. So I kind of wanted to go to a little speed round, right? And this speed round, I'm gonna hit with each one of you, and this is just kind of like a wrap up session. I'm gonna ask, where do you see so far as like price range? Where do you see Bitcoin going until the end of the week, and what is your position right now, long or short? So let's start with Blues. What levels do you see Bitcoin hitting this week, and what position are you right now?
Yeah, I longed like 1 week ago spot. I went from 58. I'm still in it. But I think we can have a retracement like back to 65, 50.
65.
And then I think, I don't know if you want a short outlook or a long.
Yeah, just a little quick short outlook. I just want to get I just want to see what everybody's. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay, Dog. What are you thinking right now? What are you thinking for this week, and what's your position?
So currently, I flip short. I already had a short hedge from that first wick we saw back 2 days ago. After seeing this second wick, and then it's starting to come down a little bit more, I went ahead and shorted enough so that I'm essentially, it's not a 1x short of my Bitmex balance, but I'm essentially 1x. I'm flat as far as crypto goes, at least just accounting all the Bitcoin spot that I'm holding. So until we break this major barrier at 6,800, 6,850, I'm cautiously bullish. I'm not really like, I can't say with any confidence the bottom is in at this point. If we break this, then I think we'll see a pretty quick move up to 7,250. If we can break that, then 7,800 is inbound. And then, I don't think that anyone can confidently say the bottom for the year is in until we at least start trading above 7,800. At that point, to evaluate that, a big thing that would clue me in is the volume up there. If the volume is still dismal, we don't ever have this, big breakout, so to speak, then I'm not particularly bullish. I'm not particularly bearish. I think that we're going to see decreased volatility, more just leveling out as we fall into this just kind of flat accumulation range. So I think all the excitement is behind us. The biggest dumps we already had, the biggest pumps.
Hopefully,
for a while.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that. We haven't gotten any huge FUD over the last week or so. So at least we good on that part. But who knows,
so
right?
India hasn't banned cryptocurrency again, have they?
Yeah, right. What is your outlook right now, Clay? What you looking at?
I'm thinking we head down to 6.2. I'm flat at the moment. I had a short yesterday, and this morning I was closing for small profit though. But yeah, just how it's not breaking that 6.8 area. I think we're going to go down at least 6.2, maybe 5.8, and then go again. But yeah, like the dog said, can't confidently say bullish or bearish yet. Just kind of waiting to see which end breaks first, really.
Yeah, it's been some real Twilight Zone shit going on the last couple of weeks or so, man, with the prices, with these pumps and dumps real quick. So, Wolf, what you looking like?
So for me, as I mentioned at the start of this podcast, I'd like to trade the larger time frames. I'm not, I'm not that great at catching these smaller trades. So if I'm looking at the daily chart, as Clay just said, for me, I'm looking at, worst case scenario. Well, not really worst case, but the scenario I'm looking at is we go back down to sort of 5.8, 5.7. Hopefully, we'll then bounce off that support line that's sort of running down with some decent volume. But I'm waiting for that, or I'm waiting for it to break the 7.8 mark. Once those things happen, once the volume confirms it, once a few other indicators confirm it as well, then I'll start loading up my positions a little more. At this point, I'm not trading it. I'm more focused on research and just watching. There's no rush here. I look at my trading as a yearly thing, right? Not I do X amount every day. Just on a yearly basis, I need to make X amount. And so yeah, that's sort of where I stand at the moment. So 5.8 low, 7.8 as a point where I'm like, right, we're turned bullish again.
Okay, so I think we got one more last person, Mayne, Trader Mayne. What you looking like right now, man?
All right, cool. Well, just to Satoshi Wolf's point there, people should take a page out of his book in terms of looking at your trade on a long-term basis. I'd venture to say most people are probably not qualified to be margin trading on Bitmex. So sometimes it's smart to just take really long-term trades saying, you know what, like, and to that point, Bitcoin under $7,000 2 years from now is a great buy. So if you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really want to learn TA, just buy some fucking Bitcoin right now.
I even know. Hey, it's crazy that you mentioned that, because I have a friend that he's kind of new to the game, but he just wanted to, he had such an urge to start investing in it, right? And he just had his own strategy that he was telling me. He was like, hey man, anytime Bitcoin goes under 6,000, under 7,000, I'm just buying it. Or anytime it goes under 6,000, I'm just buying it. So he didn't look at any charts. He didn't look at anything. He had a simple mindset of, when it goes below this certain number, I'm going to buy a little bit more. And I think that goes to what you were just saying right now.
It's very funny because people try and learn to be TA experts and, day trading masters by watching all this shit. You overcomplicate something that could be very easy. Some of the best traders, they're trend traders. And, when the moving averages cross, they buy it, and then they don't look
simple,
at it.
Hey, so simple.
So I on the other hand, am much more degenerate than that. So I am balls deep in the short from like 68. Not too deep. Obviously, it's all within my kind of risk reward. I think I took this trade on the longer term, like based on my TA, the stop would be at 7,300. So similar to what you guys were mentioning, 7,250 if we were to get down here. But based on how price action is going right now, in my opinion, if we don't challenge this swing high here, essentially, where there's a little pocket of liquidity up here, very soon, I think this move's going to run out of gas, and we will see new lows if we don't get above here and challenge it in the next week or two. I don't think this will hold. This is like a double bottom, right? This is going to get cleared out if we don't get there. So this is a critical area for me. I posted a couple of weeks ago. Like, if this level does not hold, in my opinion, I think we go through the floor. So it can come down a little bit. It can come down to, like you guys said, 65 and bounce. But it has to do something pretty soon, in my opinion, or I think we're going to, go lower. In my long-term view of Bitcoin, like 7,800 would be good. But in my opinion, we could go as high as almost 12K and then come back down and crush through the bottom again in terms of just big picture market structure. Obviously, before everyone comes and flames me and says, oh, Trader Mayne's not going to get long at 6K, wait until 12K. Of course, I'll be fucking trading longs on the way up there. But for me, for the next bull run, for us to take all-time high again, I think we got to get over kind of the 12K level for it to be like, okay, this for sure can happen. Because there's like a bunch of, remember, like this move, we thought we were going to 11K, right? When we came up to 10,000 almost a couple months ago, we thought we were going to take out that double top at 12,000. I think they could come for that and then take another move down still.
There we go. Yeah.
I like short term,
yeah.
Short, looking at
I've been seeing that a lot. 500. Okay. Yeah. So maybe, you know what? I think that's another topic for episode 2. I think one of the topics could be, how do you see the next bull run going, and what are some major levels to look at in order to, kind of confirm the trend, or kind of know that, hey, it's happening again. So I think we're gonna save that for episode 2. But I think that was a good start for episode 1. What you guys think? I think
it was
right
good.
there.
Does anyone have one huge shitcoin bag they would like me to live chart real quick?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's add that at the end, and then after that we're gonna wrap it up. So are you sharing right now?
Worried or not?
Yeah, are you sharing right now, Trader?
I think I can probably figure it out. Am I? It says I'm presenting.
Yeah, just on the left hand side, the little green button, and make sure you share the screen you want to share as well, not your whole screen.
Yeah.
Just the window.
I'll just share my entire screen. If I accidentally dox myself, it's not my fault.
Oh man.
don't come after me.
I have it on you. I don't see anything now. Click that.
It says I'm presenting. What the fuck does that mean?
So I made you presenter, so anyone watching will be able to see your screen.
Okay, guys, I'm super good with technology.
All
right,
there we go. There you go.
And everyone's my chart.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I see it.
What is everyone's biggest shitcoin bag?
Bitcoin.
Does anyone own Bitcoin Cash?
Oh man. Oh man.
Oh.
We were just talking about this before the episode, actually.
So many altcoins look like this right now. Like they're ready. If Bitcoin dumps, so many coins are gonna die. Like this thing, if it falls any lower, it's going to here.
Yep. Yeah. That's what. Yeah, I was just looking at that just before this chat, man. I was like, this is an interesting point for Bcash.
Talk about jumping off the damn cliff.
Coin fucking chart is broken now.
Oh, this one.
You know what? I actually like this long term. I think this is one that will continuously be pumped, and like it's at a really cheap price right now.
Just with those kind of coins, you just got to make sure you have your sell orders set, because those weeks.
Yeah, dude, I got out of a huge bag on that Binance thing. I got out at a 2.5x and withdrew my money.
Yeah, sweet.
Damn, on that random pump that happened last week on that API.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
You know what? I think you're the first person that I heard like that I trade with daily, and that I know like that actually won off of that. A lot of people said that they saw it, they heard about it, and they got back, and it was too late.
I was watching the soccer game, whatever soccer game it was. I was at a bar. I'm like with some homies, and I fucking just like get a buzz on my phone about the score going up. I like ran to the bathroom, fucking market sold for my cell phone. So what's a coin? What's a shit coin? Who's got a shit coin? It's got to be on TradingView.
Pull up SC.
SC.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what a. Okay.
Try to Bitmex.
I'll see a coin. Wasn't it just added? It was just added to Binance, right? It was just added not too long ago, right?
There we go.
Try Bitmex.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing about, I don't know anything about trading altcoins really, like in terms of fundamentals and stuff, but when you have like a coin come down to like a area like this, an order block, a supply zone, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like it's pretty much a safe buy. Like the whole market wasn't looking like it was looking right now, where a lot of things might fall off a cliff. Like generally, like this is a good buy when you see something retrace like right back into a known consolidation, right? Otherwise, if this level fails here, I mean, I guess you could take this one too. I'd say these two might be a little more accurate. This is kind of has to hold, or else it's going down to 76. So that's another 50%.
Set them stop losses,
Don Alt posted a great one, kind of like of a few alts today, showing like, hey, they're all at their floor, and if they fall through.
Yeah. Speaking of Don Alt, we gotta get him on the episode too, man.
Yeah.
So I think that about pretty much wraps it up. We got more. This is episode 1, guys. Episode 1. We got many more coming of the Dog Pound Presents Off the Chain. We're gonna come at you again with the next episode in a couple of weeks or so. We're gonna refine some stuff. We got many more guests coming on into the show. We got the same guests right here, steady giving you information. If you want to come check us out in the Dog Pound and talk to us anytime, go to one of our Twitters, check us out. coming to chat. We got tons of good information. These guys are, you know, just blowing it up with all types of stuff, and we've been killing it lately. So I think we're gonna end on that note, and leave some comments. You know, hit us up on this, and we'll be back. Episode 2.
That's a wrap.
See you guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
Good stuff, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
Have a good one, guys.